Hi, I'm going to do a reading of my book, Robert. If this goes well, I will do other ones. They won't be sequential, so if you want to know how they all fit together, you have to buy the book. If this flops, then this is the only one. I kind of wanted to give a taste of what the book's like. So this first one, it takes place some distance into the book. Michelle and Robert have met. He's been to her house, and this is their first date. And it starts out kind of funny. This is kind of, they go downtown on their date, and this is kind of the first part of their date. And something you should know, in my mind, Robert sounds like a young, handsome Andy Griffith. He's got a southern accent. So here's this reading of Robert. They parked the car at the mall and walked down Main Street toward Temple Square. The air was very cold, and they could see their breath. There were so many people that they had to be careful not to bump into anyone as they made their way down the sidewalk. Michelle quickened her step and turned to Robert with a huge smile on her face. "Don't you think that spending time walking in these lights just makes Christmas for you?" Robert smiled but shrugged. "I've never had a Christmas." Michelle stopped dead in her tracks. She laughed and turned to look squarely at Robert, waiting for the punchline. "What are you talking about?" Robert took Michelle by the arm and gently nudged her forward. "Well, there's a difference between enjoying someone's Christmas decorations or someone's Christmas program and actually having a Christmas of your own." Michelle gave Robert a cockeyed glare. "How can you be 26 and say that you've never had a Christmas? I don't get it." Robert shrugged innocently. "I just don't celebrate Christmas. I will someday. I'll know when it's the right time." Michelle squinted at Robert, trying to make sense of what he was saying. "You're crazy. We met at a Christmas celebration. You can't tell me you don't like Christmas. I've seen for myself how much you like it. Besides, Christmas happens every year. There's no way you were just born last spring or something." Robert's face screwed up as he tried to find the words to explain himself. "You just don't understand. I love Christmas. I love everything about it. I've just never had one." Michelle shook her head in frustration, still thinking that Robert was making a joke. "Well, I certainly have had Christmas. I have it every year. My family is a big Christmas family. We go all out for all the traditions. All the things that go on here in the city are a big part of Christmas for me and my family." Robert nodded, and the look on his face was far away. "I can't get over your family." Michelle looked down and arranged her gloves on her hands as the embarrassment of the night before came flooding back. "I'm really sorry about that." Robert glanced over twice at Michelle, eager to make himself clear. "No, I love them. I've always dreamed about having a family like that. You're really blessed. They're wonderful. I'll bet Christmas in your family is like a dream." Michelle took a minute to think about what Robert had said. "Yes, they make Christmas really special. I'll bet they're fun all year round." Robert and Michelle walked in silence for a few minutes, each looking away from the other. The sidewalk was crowded with people, so they just inched along. The evening was more fun than either had expected. The slow pace allowed them time to focus on the decorations downtown. Each would point at something fun to see without saying anything. They would nod and consider, point, nod, and consider. Michelle broke the silence when she turned to Robert. "You know what I can't get over? I can't get over your accent." Robert's eyebrows narrowed in feigned offense. "My accent?" Michelle bit her bottom lip. "I love it. It's very attractive." Robert screwed up his face and rubbed his chin. "Now we've got a little honesty coming from you?" Michelle was caught off balance with no response and made no sound but a timid giggle. Robert considered her with one eye and a raised eyebrow. "I'm not the only one with an accent. You folks from Utah definitely have a funny way of talking." Michelle sighed defensively. "People from Utah don't have an accent." Robert's eyebrows pressed together and he gave Michelle a sideways look. "They don't?" Robert's face melted into a saintly gaze as he began to impersonate Utahns. "People from Utah are just so special." Michelle laughed so hard it made her snort. She slapped at Robert's shoulder and shook her head vigorously. "That's a stereotype. We don't sound like that. Robert took Michelle's objection as a direct challenge and added an affected posture to his now exaggerated personation of a Utahn. Oh, but you do. You all sound so sugary and sweet and even keeled. No one gets much emotion in their voices for any reason. Michelle got carried away with her laughing and forgot that she was wearing shoes that might not have been appropriate for the wintry conditions. As she took a step backward, she felt her foot slide sharply on the ice. She was falling. "Oh boy," she screamed, flailing wildly. Robert reacted with the grace of an ice skater. His arm jolted instantly around Michelle's waist, and she found herself suddenly in his safe embrace. "I've got you." Michelle couldn't say anything as she gasped for breath. Still shaken from her close call, she gazed into Robert's face, wanting to express gratitude for his help, but feeling awkward finding herself so tightly in his arms. She pushed away and brushed at her hair with her fingertips. She cleared her throat and straightened her coat. Then she took a hold of Robert's arm. "I think I'll just hang on to you so that doesn't happen again." Robert and Michelle walked cheerfully, chatting and teasing. They paused at a window as they passed a jewelry and women's accessory shop. The displays were mesmerizing. Michelle took a step to continue and was surprised to look back and see Robert lost in thought as he looked through the jewelry store window. Without looking up at Michelle, Robert voiced his thoughts. "Can we go in? Here? Yes, I want to look at something." Michelle winked at Robert. "Hope it's not for you. You don't strike me as the kind of guy who wears jewelry. Got a gift in mind?" Robert shrugged. "Maybe." Robert walked Michelle slowly through the store, silently pointing out beautiful rings and necklaces. She nervously nodded her agreement. Why were they browsing in an expensive jewelry store? Robert stopped and gazed at a string of pearls. Michelle felt her heart start to beat harder. Certainly Robert wouldn't get something that expensive for her this year. "Do you think those are pretty?" "Pretty? That's hardly enough of a word for those pearls." Robert looked up to get the attention of the saleslady. "Miss, could we see these pearls here?" Michelle panicked. "What? Why? What are you doing, Robert?" Robert ignored Michelle's concerns. The saleslady came over with a smile and unlocked the case. With expert hands, she gently set the pearls on the counter where Robert and Michelle could see them better. But Michelle wasn't looking at the pearls. She was carefully watching Robert. "Is it all right if this young lady tries these on?" The voice of the saleslady was smooth and milky as she slid the felt pad closer to Robert's hand. "Oh, of course." Robert gently picked up the pearls and turned toward Michelle. "Robert, I don't think I feel comfortable with this." Robert shook his head and smirked at Michelle. He was insistent. "Hold your hair up." Michelle's eyes were wide, but she was silent as Robert stepped behind her and fastened the necklace. "They look very good on you." Michelle studied Robert's face as she touched the pearls around her neck. "Please, Robert, that's enough. I think it's time to take them off." Robert was quiet as he helped Michelle get the clasp undone. "Miss, here are the pearls. Thank you so much for letting us try them." The saleslady took the pearls and smiled at Robert without making a further sales pitch. "I still say they were very pretty." Michelle tugged at the sleeve of Robert's jacket. "Maybe we'd better leave before one of us starts to get crazy ideas." Robert smiled and looked up at the saleslady. "Maybe another time?" The saleslady nodded and smiled. Robert and Michelle slowly made their way to the door, and Robert opened the door for Michelle. They walked in silence for a few minutes. "You were teasing me in there, weren't you?" "No, I wouldn't say that. I was just window shopping with you." "Are you saying I shouldn't expect a special Christmas present from you?" "I wouldn't say that either." "Just please, not pearls, okay? I wouldn't feel comfortable with that." Robert nodded thoughtfully but didn't respond. Michelle felt the awkwardness between them increasing. "So what else are you planning for Christmas?" "I don't know." Oh, Robert paused to think, surprised by the question. Michelle elaborated. "I know. I remember. You've never had a Christmas. I mean, what are your plans for the Christmas season?" And so that's a reading of Robert this morning. Please get the book and find out where else this goes. The rest of their date is hilarious and very interesting, and the whole book is fantastic. I love it. Of course, I wrote it, so that might be a little bit biased. But thank you, everybody, for all your support. It's been wonderful. It's been a thrill to all the comments people have sent to me privately and the people that have come up to me in person. It's been fun to do this. It's a story I love to tell, and now it's a book. It's just been really exciting. Thanks a lot.